Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you watched one of my previous videos, you will know I'm a software engineer, and today I'll be sharing my journey to software engineering with you guys. So keep on watching. Okay, yay, story time. I studied electrical and electronic engineering at the University of Benin in Nigeria. I actually studied that because I was interested in telecommunication and my dream was to work in MTN Nigeria then. Obviously, that dream has changed a lot. I was actually introduced to programming in my third year of undergrad, and back then I didn't even have a personal computer until my third year. I know, thinking about it now, wow. Anyway, I was introduced to programming in my third year. It was a very simple basic course in C. We didn't do much, we just solved simple math problems, but it just fascinated me. I liked the idea of being able to just type in things and do amazing things. I don't know. After that class, I tried to learn programming several times and failed. I would try to learn something, fail, try to learn something, fail. It just felt very difficult, and for some reason it just was not sticking. Looking back, I can think of things I should have done differently. I'll be sharing some tips for coding actually in a future video, so if that's something you would be interested in, definitely subscribe so you get notified when that video drops. Back then, many of my friends, many people in my field were doing computer networking, like they were taking the CCNA certification, and I was like, okay, I would do it. Even though it wasn't programming, it was a gateway into the tech field, and doing that course I learned so much. I actually really enjoyed it. I loved learning how computers communicate with each other and basically how the internet works. Even if I could not do software engineering, I loved that I got to be in the tech space at least. After graduation, I had to do my NYC. It's a program in Nigeria where you serve the country for 1 year. It's basically working for a stipend, cheap labor. So I knew that I wanted to do it at a tech company, and in some states they do allow you pick the company that you will do it if the company is willing to accept you. So I applied to many tech companies and I ended up being called for an interview at an ISP, Internet Service Provider, IPNX. And during the interview, I was all like, oh yeah, I know networking, I have a CCNA, I can do networking, blah, blah, blah. And the exec, I still remember her, the exec, she was like, oh yeah, listen, she's going to put me in the R&D department, and I should just try to keep an open mind. I should not just be like, oh yeah, I want to do networking and just try to focus on that, but I should just try to keep an open mind and learn. I wasn't really happy about it, but I was just like, oh yeah, okay, sure. To be honest, now I'm really thankful for her. I'm really thankful for that opportunity, because that was where I finally felt like, okay, I can code. When I started working there, I still kept trying to learn how to code and failing until I got a project. It was a software-defined networking and network function virtualization project, and it basically combined software and programming with networking. I still had to learn how to program by myself, but because I had a project I was working on, it just stuck. I could choose any language, so I chose Python, and till today Python is just my language of choice. I've learned other languages after then, but Python is my go-to language. It's very close to my heart. But yeah, so that was where I felt like, okay, yes, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. So while I was interning there, I started applying for my master's. At that point, I already knew that I was interested in computer science, but I also wanted to go to a top school, an Ivy League school, and I did not feel like I knew enough to get into a computer science master's program in one of these schools. So I just applied for electrical and computer engineering, which was similar to what my undergrad was in, and I figured I would work my way to software engineering. Thankfully, I did. So I ended up going to Cornell University and I did my master's in electrical and computer engineering there. During that program, I took only 2 computer science courses. One was data structure and algorithm. It was a lower level course, so it didn't really count to my master's. From that class, I started learning a bit about algorithms and data structure. And the other class was operating systems, which I would say was my best class there. It was really interesting, but it was so difficult. I don't know how I passed that class. I would say during my master's program, I didn't really it's a master's, so you don't really learn to code, you just use programming. So I didn't really learn it, I just used it. But the fact that I was using programming, I had to use it for my assignments, even other languages, I had to figure them out. So just the fact that I was doing that kind of just made my programming skills better. And then while I was doing my master's, I applied for several jobs. Again, I knew I was interested in software engineering, but as an international student, you want to stay in the country. So I applied for not just software engineering jobs, I applied for different jobs kind of related to my field. Luckily, I ended up getting a software engineering job, a network software engineering job at a Fortune 500 company. And as they say, the rest is history, to be very cliche. I've now officially been a software engineer for about 3 years. I get to write code for a living and I love it. It's amazing. And right now, I cannot see myself doing anything else. It's fun, it's stressful, but it's exciting and I'm really, really happy where I am. I definitely still have doubts sometimes. There's this, I'm not good enough. Am I really a software engineer? Imposter syndrome, basically. If you don't know what that is, I talked about it in one of my previous videos, so check that out. But yeah, I still struggle with that. But when I was switching jobs, the fact that many companies wanted to interview me to be a software engineer in their company made me feel like, okay, girl, you've got this, you can do this. Even though I still struggle with it right now, especially in a new job, I remind myself that I've worked hard to be where I am. I deserve to be here, and I just keep taking it one day at a time and doing my best. One thing I would like to say is that as a software engineer, you learn most of the things by yourself. So if this is something you are interested in, even if you've studied something else, don't feel like you have to go back to school or go broke to get into this field. There are so many people from different backgrounds, not even related, that are in software engineering. Yes, it may be easier for someone that studied computer science to get a job at first. Know that it's not impossible for you. So if you can't afford to go back to school, know that doesn't mean that you can't get into this. Just be disciplined and try your best to learn. There are so many resources online. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed my story. I hope this motivated you in some way, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment. As always, guys, remember, impossible is nothing. Bye.